If Pyros and Crips all got along, they probably got me down by the end of the song. Seem like the whole city go against me. Every time I'm in the street, I hear drop, 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 drop.
Alright, so the Patriots are one of those teams that are like boring as fuck to talk about, especially in the offseason. In terms of like during the NFL season, they're kind of interesting because I made a couple videos. I made like, the Patriots shut out the Falcons video. I made like the Matt Garoppolo throws 3 passes video. So in terms of in season, they're pretty interesting. But in terms of the off season, they're pretty boring just because they never make any moves like whatsoever. But basically what I wanted to talk about was Mac Jones and how it almost seems like the Patriots are trying to sabotage him. You know what I mean? It almost feels like that. I could put sabotage, but I'm just going to put screw. I don't know. I mean, like, sometimes certain words get more clicks than others. I have no fucking clue. Because I feel like everyone is going to use the word sabotage. You know what I mean? I just decided to use the word screw. Anyways, enough with my fucking video title. Back to this shit. So, if you look at all the moves the Patriots made this offseason, it is becoming more and more apparent that the Patriots really don't give a fuck about Mac Jones, bro. Like, they don't want to see this motherfucker succeed, bro. They'd rather just run the ball 50 times a game. Like, they don't even want to have a passing game, bro. Like, their problem all of last season was not their running game. Their running game was just fine. It was not their defense. Their defense was just fine. It was the fact that they have no vertical passing game. Even though Mac Jones had a pretty solid year, you know what I mean? They didn't really have an ability to go over the top. Because Kendrick is not really a true deep threat. He's more of like a slot guy who can occasionally burn you. You know what I mean? 20, 30 yards down the field. But he's obviously not a Tyreek Hill, not a Corey Davis, not an A.J. Brown. He's not going to be able to burn you down the field like that consistently. You know what I mean? And then you have Nelson Aguilar, who was like the bust of the century, who was looking great in Vegas for a year. Goes to New England and is absolutely trash. You know what I mean? And then, obviously, they signed my man Hunter Henry away from the Chargers. That was a good move, but Jonnu Smith, they also signed that man. That man did fucking nothing. So, really, outside of, like, Hunter Henry, like, they really didn't do much, because you could say Kendrick Bourne, but, like, in terms of a receiver, this man has, 650 yards? Because if you're having 650 yards as a tight end, that's actually pretty good. But as a receiver, that's not good whatsoever. Like, if that's your main guy, like, that's not good whatsoever. So, they already did not have that many good weapons going into the fucking offseason. They already didn't have that many good weapons. And they decide, okay, let's trade away Shaq Mason, who's our best lineman. Let's trade away Shaq Mason. Let's trade, instead of getting, because here's the thing. This was a historically good, and when I mean historically, I mean a historically good wide receiver free agency class. Even if you didn't want to get a free agent, there was plenty of receivers on the trade market. They had A.J. Brown, they had Marquise Brown, Deebo Samuel. I'm not sure if he's still on the trade market, but that might be a possibility. You know what I mean? You had guys like Jarvis Landry, Will Fuller, you know what I mean? Mike Williams, like, you had, like, Juju even, like, this was a very deep free agency class. Tyreek Hill, that's another one you gotta think about. So this was a very, very good wide receiver free agency class. And, there's a particular guy I've been vouching for the Patriots to get that was also available, who they probably could have gotten for a discount, since he did just come off an injury, which is by the name of Michael Gallup. That man, when given the opportunity, is a consistent 1,000-yard receiver. You know what I mean? And would by far be the number one in New England. You know what I mean? Never really had a chance to break out as a true number one in the Cowboys, but would definitely be the number one receiver in New England. So they could have signed that man, but instead they decided to give up a third-round pick for fucking Devontae Parker. So, you know what I mean? First off, they only got back a 2023 sixth-round pick for Stephon Gilmore, who's one of the best who's probably one of the top 5 corners in the league when healthy. So they didn't get anything back for him. They could have franchise tagged J.C. Jackson and got something back for him, but they just let him walk for nothing. You know what I mean? So, and then they trade away Shaq Mason for basically nothing. So all of these moves, here's the thing. I'm not sure if they're trying to clear cap space. I'm not sure if they're trying to get draft capital. I'm not sure what their objective is. But if they're trying to get draft capital, clearly they're not doing a good job, because they only got back a 6th-round pick. They only got back a 6th-round pick for Stephon Gilmore. They only got back a 5th-round pick for Shaq Mason. So they're not doing a good job of getting draft capital. In terms of clearing cap space, I really don't know what Patriots player is in line for a big extension at this point, because a lot of their players, are signed to either long-term deals. A lot of their key players are either signed to long-term deals or are old-ass motherfuckers you would want to get rid of anyways. You know what I mean? So, I'm really just not sure what the Patriots' plan is here. So they end up getting Devontae Parker, you know what I mean? This man was so fucking trash that the Dolphins felt comfortable trading him within their own division. Now, I never said this man was good. I just said the Dolphins were stupid for trading in division. But the Dolphins might know something that we don't. The Dolphins might think, oh yeah, we're so confident that this man is trash, we're going to trade him in the division, to screw our opponents over. You know what I mean? So basically, they think that this man is what Nelson Aguilar was for the Eagles. That's basically their opinion on Devontae Parker. You know what I mean? So instead of getting Michael Gallup for free, they decide to waste the 3rd-round pick to get Devontae Parker. So that's number one. And then, in the 2nd round, they had guys like Christian Watson, Sky Moore, you know what I mean? Justin fucking Ross available. They had all they had all these guys available in the 2nd round, and they decided to get Tyquan Thornton, all because he had a good 40 time, even though John Ross has the best 40 time of all time, and this dude is damn near out of the fucking league, or I think he's the 6th string he's the 6th string receiver on the Giants or some shit. So, you know what I mean? Clearly 40 time is not the only thing that matters. Clearly it's more about when you get into the league, jumping high and running fast. Those two things are not nearly as important as the number one most important thing for a wide receiver, which is getting separation. Because you could jump as high as you want, you could run as fast as you want, but at the end of the day, you are in the NFL with, the best athletes in the entire world. You know what I mean? Or with some of the best athletes. Obviously there's NBA players, there's soccer players. But you're in the NFL with some of the top athletes, the top athletes in the entire world. You know what I mean? They're going to jump higher than anyone else. They're going to run faster than anyone else. So when it comes down to it, it is based off your ability to get separation. That is the number one thing that you need as a wide receiver. And the Patriots still have not caught on to that because, apparently they're okay with Kendrick Bourne being their number one receiver. Now, I heard that Tyquan Thornton was basically a replacement to Aguilar. But at the same time, what are y'all gonna do with Devontae Parker? You know what I mean? And then what else? Jacoby Myers, is that who you're rolling forward with? So y'all really don't like Mac Jones, do you? Because here's the thing, I wouldn't even be concerned if it wasn't for the moves that the rest of your AFC East partners had made. So the Bills, we all know the Bills are the Bills. You know what I mean? The Bills, their receiving core was lit to begin with, so there's nothing to go over there. But now they just got a running game, so that's something to worry about. And then the Dolphins, they just got the most explosive receiver in the NFL in Tyreek Hill. Completely redid that offensive line. Got like 5 different running backs. Signed like 2 other receivers besides. Signed like 2 other receivers besides just Tyreek Hill. You know what I mean? And already had Jalen Waddle. And then you got the Jets. Brand new offensive line. Drafted Bryce Hall. You know what I mean? And now they have Bryce Hall and Michael Carter, who, by the way, was a beast last year in fantasy when healthy for me. So I appreciate Michael Carter. But, I mean, I can't choose Michael Carter now that they have Bryce Hall. You know what I mean? Or I think Michael Carter at this point might just be a third down back. I think what's going to happen is Michael Carter is going to be the third down back. And then Bryce Hall is going to be like the every down back. That's probably my guess on what's going to happen. And then they got, originally they were going to get Deebo Samuel. I guess that didn't work out. So then they ended up getting, so now they have, Now they have Corey Davis, Elijah Moore, maybe Denzel Mims. I don't know if they're going to keep him on the roster. And then they have all those dudes. And then they also have, the man, the myth, the legend himself, the man who I have considered to be the best wide receiver in this year's draft class, in Garrett Wilson. So the Dolphins have loaded up. The Jets have loaded up. The Bills have been loaded up. You know what I mean? And here you are with the Patriots, with their best receivers being Kendrick Bourne and Jacoby Myers. You know what I mean? Devontae Parker. What are we doing here, bro? You know what I mean? What the fuck are we doing here, bro? And now, not only that, it's one thing if your receivers aren't even talented, because if you have good coaching, you can make, you know what I mean, the worst receivers look good. Because Robert Woods was a fucking random when he was on the Bills. All of a sudden, he goes to the Rams, he becomes a perennial Pro Bowl receiver. You know what I mean? So clearly it's not only just about talent. Sometimes it is about the scheme. But now there's a scheme concern. They got the man from the Giants, Joe Judge. They got that entire coaching staff. You know what I mean? The motherfuckers who just put fucking Daniel Jones in the hot seat. They got all those motherfuckers on the squad. You know what I mean? Now the Patriots players are talking about how they're concerned with the offensive coaching staff. And then, to top this all off, you got Joe Judge, which is already bad enough, but at least Joe Judge damn near won the division. So I'll give him credit for that. But to top it off, I heard, I don't know if this is true or not, this may or may not be true, but I heard the Patriots have Adam Gase on the roster? Adam Gase. Any NFL fan should cringe every time I speak that name. Adam Gase is on an NFL team. Which team he's on? He's on the prestigious Patriots. You know what I mean? The team that can get nothing wrong. So, here's the thing. The Jets have gotten better on both sides of the ball. They fixed their offensive line, got a running game, got weapons, got another edge rusher, got a better secondary with Sauce Gardner, got another safety with Jordan Whitehead. So the Jets, they'll be set. The Dolphins, they already had a good-ass defense last year. They've been top 5 in defense. We'll see how they do without Flores. But, they have a really talented young defense led by Xavier Howard, led by Jalen Phillips, led by Emmanuel Ogbah, all those boys. All right? And now they just got all the, they got all the running backs, they got all the offensive linemen, they got Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and Cedric. So, and the Bills are the Bills, and they just got a running back in James Cook. Their roster was basically perfection, and they basically added to the only hole on their roster, which was the running back position. So, if we really think about it, there is a possibility. There definitely is a possibility that the Patriots can finish 4th. Now, I'm not going to go that far into say they will finish 4th, but I think they'll finish 3rd. I think either the Jets or the Dolphins. One of these two teams is going to finish with a better record than the Patriots. My guess is the Dolphins, just because Tua already has a track record of owning Mac Jones. Like, Tua already has a track record. Now, that's with Brian Flores, obviously. But now Tua is actually getting some real offensive help. So, I think that trend will continue. And also, the Patriots defense has gotten way worse. Like, I don't know who the hell their linebackers are. You know, they didn't address their middle linebacker position at all. I think they re-signed Jawan Bentley. I'm not sure if they drafted any linebackers in the draft, but I'm not aware of it. I'm not aware of them getting any linebackers in the draft. In terms of their cornerback situation, I don't know what the hell they're going to do there, because, you know, they just lost J.C. Jackson, and they brought back like a 55-year-old Malcolm Butler. You know, I don't know if that's going to do anything. So now who's going to be the number one corner on the Patriots? Jonathan Jones? Now, I know Bill Belichick likes to manufacture corners, but at a certain point, you need to have the talent. Because Jonathan Jones has been there for years. You know what I mean? We at least saw flashes of J.C. Jackson doing shit. We saw flashes of J.C. Jackson popping off even when Stephon Gilmore was there. Like, what the hell has Jonathan Jones done, bro? You know what I mean? So, you got Jonathan Jones as your number one corner. You signed Jalen Miller. You have all these guys, and it's not going to amount to shit because for some reason, I don't know, y'all just did not seem to be that aggressive. Y'all thought we could just run it back with the same roster. Yeah, because here's the thing. I know that you guys made the playoffs, but you do realize that you lost, your last, 3 out of your last 4 games or some shit like that, right? You do realize the only reason you made the playoffs was because you went against the fucking trash-ass, back-to-back number 1 pick-ass team in the Jacksonville Jaguars, right? You do realize that, right? So, here's the thing. More than likely, you will finish 3rd. I will still put you ahead of the Jets, just because the Jets, you know what I mean? They are a rebuilding team. I think it's going to take them a while. to get back into playoff contention. But I do believe the Jets will surprise a lot of people. You know what I mean? Because, they were really competitive in a lot of the games this season. But I do believe they will hover around 500. If they do not have a 500 record, I do believe they will have a 7-10, 8-9, 9-8. I do believe the Jets will be respectable, but they will probably fall a little bit short. So I'll give the Patriots the respect of putting them ahead of the Jets. But the Dolphins, you know what I mean? Tua owns Mac Jones. The Dolphins, I'm pretty sure they're going to have a better record than the Jets. The only concern about the Dolphins is obviously Josh Allen. They're probably never going to beat Josh Allen. But then again, the Patriots probably are never going to beat Josh Allen if they're not in, fucking 10-degree weather either. So, at the end of the day, I don't know what y'all expect to do with Mac Jones, but clearly y'all are not helping him. Y'all are not giving him the weapons that he needs. Y'all are not giving him the defense that he needs. You're not giving this man anything. And here's the thing. I've never been the biggest fan of Mac Jones, but at the same time, at least give the man a chance, bro. At least give this man something to work with. Now, maybe Kendrick Bourne and Nelson Aguilar, Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith. Maybe that's something Cam Newton could have worked with, just because Cam Newton's used to not having shit. But this dude, Mac Jones, had fucking Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, you know what I mean? What is it? Jameson Williams. He had all these motherfuckers at Alabama. And you expect him to just go into the NFL and his best receiver be Kendrick Bourne? Come on, man. Come on. You know better than this. You know what I mean? You know better than this. So like I said, the Patriots, y'all are fucked. Obviously, y'all are fucked. But at the end of the day, here's the thing. because we know that Bill Belichick seems to like Alabama players. So my question to you is this: are you in for Bryce Young? Is this just a ploy to get Bryce Young, trade Mac Jones? You know what I mean? Is this a ploy? Because I know you drafted Bailey Zappi, but at the same time, here's the thing. Mac Jones, if you do trade him, he would be going into his third season because, yeah, he would be going into his third season if you were to trade him. Because, what is it? He would just be finished with that season, so he'd be going into the third season, and at that point, you would have to make a decision. Do I want to give him the fifth-year option, or do I not want to give him? So I could see a reason to do so, just because Mac Jones has, like, limited arm strength. But, I mean, at the same time, he did make winning plays. I don't think you're ever going to, like, be wowed by Mac Jones, and that might be the reason that you guys didn't invest that much. But at the same time, you gotta give this man a chance. You know what I mean? You can't just surround him with a bunch of shit and just, like, think he's gonna do something with it. You know what I mean? So yeah, you got Joe Judge, you got fucking Adam Gase. You know what I mean? It's not gonna happen, man. It's really just not. You know, you just lost Josh McDaniels, who's been the guy, who's been that offensive coordinator who's made the Patriots look good for all these years. You know what I mean? Because you could talk shit about, oh yeah, Brady this, Brady that. But even without Brady, you know what I mean? They had Matt Castle. This shit was still looking good. Now they have Mac Jones. The shit was still looking good. They had Cam Newton before COVID. The shit was still looking good. So you gotta give Josh McDaniels some credit for some of that shit, alright? So yeah. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of teams that are going to be wanting a quarterback next year. And are the Patriots one of those teams? Are the Patriots one of those teams? Are they not 100% sold on Mac Jones? Is this their way of getting out from underneath Mac Jones while they still can? Because you did see, even though he led them to the playoffs, you did see when he went against Josh Allen, you could see the clear difference between him and Josh Allen. And you did not even see, it was not even a fucking competition. Because it would have been one thing had he just lost to Josh Allen by a couple scores. This man got decimated. And even when he got decimated, he didn't even try to pad his stats to make it look close. I think the final score was like 48-14. Like, he couldn't even get that shit to like a 2-score game, bro. You know what I mean? All that shit. Like, he couldn't even get that shit to a 2-score game. You know what I mean? And then the one game he won against the Bills was when he didn't throw. Was when he threw 3 passes. So it was not because of him. So I could definitely understand why they would move on from Mac Jones. I could understand why they would not be 100% invested into Mac Jones, just so they could tank next year, you know, get some draft capital from a Mac Jones trade, and then, you know what I mean, go ahead and move forward with Bryce Young. But at the same time, these Alabama QBs, none of them have great arms. If we're being honest, Tua, he's accurate, does not have a great arm. Mac Jones, accurate, does not have a great arm. Jalen Hurts has wheels for day, is not that accurate. So, like, do you really want to put all your bread and butter into Bryce Young? I don't know. Maybe CJ Stroud? I don't know. Maybe Spencer Rattler? I don't know. So, really, it's all up to the Patriots. The Patriots want to go scouting for another QB. You know, is that the main reason why they are, you know, just not putting any effort into investing into Mac Jones? That may be why. That's definitely a possibility. But it will be a decision that the Patriots are going to have to make. They're going to have to decide. Do we want to give this man the 5th-year option? Do we want to roll forward with this man long term in a division with Josh Allen? in a division where Tua might pop off just because of all the weapons, in a division where Zach Wilson, even though he's a turnover machine now, has shown plenty of promise, has a big arm, has a bunch of weapons, he has an upcoming coach with who's a great defensive mind. So, Mac Jones, I think Mac Jones could be good in a division like the NFC East, where his competition is fucking Carson Wentz. You know what I mean? I'm not going to slander Daniel Jones just yet. Just because, we haven't really seen this dude around much. We saw Carson Wentz with, Super Bowl level rosters not do shit. We saw Carson Wentz with Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman, Jack Doyle, all these motherfuckers, and not do shit. So, in terms of the best offensive line, the Colts offensive line was kind of shaky all season. They were kind of in and out of the lineup, so I won't really blame him that much for that. But we've seen Carson Wentz have a lot of shit and not do anything with it. We've seen Daniel Jones have 1 year, his rookie year where he was decent. And then even though they almost made the playoffs his second year, it wasn't really because of him. It was more because of the defense. And then this year, he got hurt before the season ended, so we can't really judge him on that one. And then when it comes to the Cowboys, even though the Cowboys beat up on the division, we all know the second that the Cowboys play a non-NFC East team, they look absolutely positively pussy. I got nothing against the Cowboys. I just find it funny how they look so great against the NFC East, yet whenever they play any other team, they look fucking trash. In terms of the Eagles, here's the thing. I fucking hate Eagles fans. Eagles fans can suck my dick. These are the cockiest motherfuckers on the goddamn planet. They talk way too much goddamn shit. I fucking hate the Eagles. I fucking hate the Eagles. I hate their fans. I hate all Philly fans. All these motherfuckers can fucking die. But at the end of the day, I do fuck with my man Jalen Hurts. You know what I mean? Because that man saved me in fantasy time and time again. Time and time again, that man saved me in fantasy. Every time this trash-ass, bum-ass motherfucker, Lamar Jackson, tried to sell me, Jalen Hurts was like, I got you, baby. I got you, baby. So, at least until the end of next year, I got Jalen Hurts' back. You know what I mean? This man drugged a team with one good receiver. You know what I mean? With one good receiver, a shaky defense. You know what I mean? A tight end who's never healthy. You know what I mean? A running back who's never good in Miles Sanders. A running back who has one good game out of every 12 games. You know what I mean? And he drug them to the playoffs. You know what I mean? So I gotta give him credit for that. I gotta give Jalen Hurts some credit for that. Now, obviously, we'll have to see how he does. You know what I mean? We'll have to see how he does to see if he can do this again. I believe in Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts is not too far off from Dak Prescott. Especially because Dak Prescott is fucking trash when he doesn't have Amari Cooper. So I don't even know why I'm talking about the NFC East. The conversation at hand is about Mac Jones. And, like I said, if Mac Jones went to the NFC East, I think he could compete with those guys. But in a division with Josh Allen, potentially Tua, you know what I mean? Zach Wilson, if he actually gets his shit together, which he did start to do at the end of the season, I just don't see it, man. I understand. The more and more I think about it, the more and more I kind of understand where the Patriots are coming from. They don't want to 100% invest in this guy because they don't 100% believe in this guy. But at the same time, you gotta, you know what I mean? He led you to your first playoffs in a while. He had some flashes here and there. You might want to at least fucking give him a chance before you just, you know what I mean, fucking ruin him and have Joe Judge and Adam Gase be his offensive coordinators. Just a thought. You know what I mean? Just a thought. But yeah, with that being said, I'm out. Peace.